Hello everyone, and welcome back to Jikook Magic. In a world where every move of a celebrity is sharply analyzed, no one can truly escape the public eye, not even in their most private moments. The same goes for Park Jimin and John Jungkook, two members of BTS who are now completing their military service. In his latest live broadcast, Jimin smiled softly and said calmly, "I don't have many friends." It may sound simple, but it carried a deep honesty. As always, he said it without drama, gentle, sincere, yet powerful enough to make thousands of people pause and reflect. There was no sadness in his tone, no trace of complaint. Instead, there was a quiet peace, as if he had made peace with the world and with himself. Behind the glitter of fame and the endless flashes of cameras, Jimin revealed a rarely seen side of himself. That solitude doesn't always mean loneliness. He looked genuinely happy, even content with the small circle he kept. People who understood him without needing many words. Perhaps that's a form of maturity often overlooked by the public. Jimin is known for his warmth and empathy, but also for his wisdom. He knows that not every smile means sincerity, and not every friendship means closeness. In an entertainment world that moves fast and thrives on pretense, protecting one's small, honest circle might be the purest form of self-preservation. His words were not a reflection of loneliness, but rather a revelation of someone who has learned the meaning of intimacy and boundaries. He knows that true peace doesn't come from the crowd, but from a sense of enough, being loved enough, understood enough, and free enough to simply be himself. But that wasn't the only part that drew attention. In the same live, Jimin unintentionally stirred quiet ripples among fans. Not by announcing new music, but through the way he spoke about Jungkook. His tone was light and warm as he shared glimpses of their daily life in the military barracks. Yet, to some people, that was too close. Some fans felt uneasy with such openness. They thought stories about sleeping side by side, sharing tight quarters, and chatting before bed should remain private. But to many others, that's exactly where the beauty lies. A portrait of two people finding calm amid the pressures of being both public figures and soldiers. In that stream, Jimin chuckled and said, "I was number 60, and Jungkook was number 59. So every night, we were always beside each other." He recalled one night when he heard a strange noise while half asleep. Curious, he sat up and realized it came from Jungkook, softly snoring against his arm. "He sounded like a tiny machine," he said, laughing. Behind that playful tone, there was a tenderness he couldn't quite hide. Jungkook, who was watching the live in real time, just smiled. His gaze was warm and calm, as if every word took him back to that moment. When Jimin finished the story, Jungkook left a short comment. "I guess I just wanted to lean on you." A simple line, yet honest, intimate, and needing no further translation. The closeness between Jimin and Jungkook is nothing new to BTS fans. Since debut, they've been known as the brotherly pair who always look out for each other. They've shared everything, from cramped rehearsal rooms in Seoul to grand stages across America and Europe. But their military service seems to have added a new dimension. Two people who now understand each other in silence. Jimin once spoke about the intensity of the training, including sleepless nights inside armored vehicles. "It wasn't comfortable, but somehow I could sleep well," he said. Many fans connected that comfort to Jungkook, someone who quietly offered him a sense of safety without needing to say anything. Jungkook's way of caring was distinct, quiet, simple, but full of meaning. He often sent food to Jimin. "I added mayonnaise," he once joked, remembering how delighted Jimin always was to receive it. To many fans, these small gestures became symbols of genuine affection. Unforced, unpublicized, and deeply human. Rumors among ARMY even suggest that Jungkook intentionally enlisted earlier and requested to be assigned to the same unit as Jimin. Their consecutive training numbers, 59 and 60, seem to support the theory. When asked, Jimin only replied lightly, "We didn't think much about it." Yet that's where the honesty feels most real. In relationships built on trust, big decisions often need no words. Throughout training, it was said that the two often found ways to meet despite strict schedules. "If one of us had time, the other would come," Jimin shared. There were no promises, no plans, just a natural presence born from mutual understanding. Their bond has long been a focal point in the BTS fandom. Online, they're affectionately known as Jikook. Some see them as a symbol of pure friendship. Others interpret it more deeply. The fandom is divided, admiration on one side, skepticism on the other. But one thing remains undeniable: consistency. After all these years, their closeness hasn't faded. It hasn't changed, nor does it feel staged. For those who have followed BTS from the beginning, such a relationship is rare in Korea's competitive entertainment scene. What Jimin and Jungkook have feels like an oasis, a natural, sincere intimacy in an industry built on image and perfection. In modern pop culture, intimacy is often misunderstood. The public tends to measure it by grand gestures or public declarations. But perhaps, in Jimin and Jungkook's case, the truth is much simpler. They're not trying to explain anything. Jimin, with his gentleness, shows that affection doesn't always need to be displayed. Jungkook, with his quiet nature, proves that real care lives in the smallest actions: a laugh, a shared meal, or a comforting glance. In a world that demands explanations, they choose silence. And that's where the beauty lies. In that silence, they share something cameras can't fully capture: a trust built over years and the comfort of being themselves in each other's presence. For some, their closeness may blur the line between professionalism and personal affection. But perhaps what they're showing is emotional maturity rarely seen in this industry. Not every bond needs a label. Not every connection needs definition. Jimin and Jungkook grew up under unimaginable pressure, losing privacy at a young age, living under constant scrutiny. Yet they still found space to be human amidst it all. In that context, their togetherness isn't just closeness but survival, a quiet protection only they can understand. They may never share the full story of their time in the military. Jimin offered a glimpse during his birthday livestream, and perhaps Jungkook will do the same one day. But from that small glimpse, the public has already seen enough. This isn't a story about rumors. It's about two people who looked after each other in difficult times, who understood one another without many words, and who kept finding each other even as the world kept moving. The world may continue to speculate about how close they are, about the meaning behind their silences and smiles. But for Jimin and Jungkook, perhaps none of that matters anymore. Because in the end, it's not about labels. It's not about gossip. It's about two people who found home in each other's presence. In a noisy, demanding world, they chose silence. And in that silence lies the purest kind of beauty. Thank you for watching Jikook Magic. If you, too, believe that warmth doesn't always need words, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because there are still many small, meaningful stories we'll explore together. See you in the next video, where silence speaks louder than words.